Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 926. Directed by Ryosuke Tanaka from Yutaka Nakashima's board, and supervised by Shuichi Ito. After last episode was a very solid showing from Nanami Michibata on a rather hard-to-adapt action episode, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how the other former assistant director Ryosuke Tanaka handles his purely dialogue-centric episode. Yutaka Nakashima's board should lead him in the right direction with his usual vibrant storyboarding and hints of some really nice atmosphere, and Shuichi Ito's polished and close to Oda art that is always in every corner of his episodes is of course at the forefront once again. So it'll be very interesting to see if Tanaka can stand right alongside them and pull this all off by bringing engaging direction to all the dialogue and a real sense of impending doom. So will episode 926 be an episode to remember for our second assistant director debut in a row? Time to take a seat and find out. This episode covers the remainder of chapter 931 and the first 9 pages of chapter 932, as well as the first 2 pages of chapter 934. And the canon content all feels faithfully adapted despite the need to stretch things out, and the fact that the cutaway to the Big Mom Pirates was adapted now instead of at sunrise, and the material is all enhanced thanks to the filler being at the forefront once again. The Oniwa Banshu are actually more competent, we see how Robin got the mask that she ended up with at the banquet, and most importantly, we also actively see Orochi feed her information instead of randomly cutting away from it. Like usual, it all helps to build a more consistent narrative and ends up being far less confusing than how the manga portrayed it, where it would off-screen some events that were kind of important. Add that together with some actually creative and really fun uses of filler, with stuff like Big Mom's dream as she's drowning and Chopper and Tama's ninja duel before they end up noticing her, and you consistently get a great adaptation from start to finish purely because of how it takes practically almost every chance it can to expand upon the original content. Yutaka Nakashima's board here may just be his strongest output on the TV anime by a mile and a half. With extreme high and low angles, surprisingly strong scale, and wonderful depth of field being among the many strong qualities of said board. There's expert use of the first person, shots don't really linger or repeat that often, and it overall exudes a very premium energy that I would expect to see from one of our 3 series directors, with many new and interesting storyboarding techniques for Nakashima really being put to work. And Tanaka's own execution of the board is surprisingly just as good, using simple shamisen strums and minimal sound effects along with silence to really sell the atmosphere of some scenes. And when you have wonderful OST choices that never feel out of place to back that all up, there's never a dull moment to be found here, producing quite possibly one of my favorite Wano storyboards and executing it damn near flawlessly. And with Shuichi Ito's polished art that's packed with pancake faces being just as consistent as ever, 926 ends up being an absurdly strong and polished episode that certainly took me by surprise. When it comes to dialogue episodes, I'm not usually too picky, because several storyboard artists and directors can make them just as effective as they need to be by using rather conservative boarding and direction in the grand scheme of things. But with Nakashima's almost series director level board, and the surprising adaptation of it by someone who was only making their debut, my expectations for a simple talking episode were exceeded tenfold, and made what is for sure one of my absolute favorite Wano episodes. As next week's episode continues the storyline at Orochi's banquet, with Satoshi Ito and Shigefumi Shingaki's 927, I can only hope that it follows 926 with a rather solid dialogue episode in its own right. Shingaki's sharp yet groggy art actually looks quite solid based off what we're being shown, and while Satoshi Ito's board doesn't look too insane for someone who's known for his Nagamine-like traits, I have faith that his full storyboard will certainly have more to offer. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and yeah, all those Robins were just far too powerful.